Ubom patagahle bayang sabawela bangem patagahle bayang sabawela. I don't know the lyrics after that. But anyway, Dumelambo Maseve, this week we are at Omoda Bryanston because you guys have been asking so much and commenting on every single video of mine about a review of the Omoda C9. So I've been trying to ask Omoda South Africa for the car. I'm not getting a response on the emails. There's no concise reason as to why I can't get the car on test. And I got a little bit frustrated. I know I got the JQ J7 scheduled for later in the year, but the way you guys have been commenting, I just felt bad. And I was like, you know what, let me just find a dealer, find a demo, and just quickly do a review and tell you guys my thoughts on the C9. So shout out to Omoda Bryanston. I went to Omoda 4 Ways first, and I asked them for a demo. I went in the morning, and the guy said I can come back. When I come back, there's another guy. Mazda. I told him about my channel, so if he's watching this, then yeah, I na flop. So I asked him if I can do the review. He's like, no, go to Bryanston, they have a demo, we can't use this one because it's brand new. When I get to Bryanston mode, the guy who's helping me said, nah, the guys at Omoda 4 Ways lied to you. So to the guy that lied to me, go Omoda 4 Ways, wabor umutomo hole, like umutomo hole, one disappointer and umutomo hole, like you are grown. I asked to do a review and then we don't want truth. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Let's focus on the good, the fact that we managed to get our hands on the C9. I luckily drove it on launch, so I am a bit acquainted with it, but I did drive it in this video. So let's get into the Omoda C9. That was a long intro. That was a very long intro. And if you are looking for insurance on your new Omoda C9, don't forget to click the link in my description box, which will direct you to the Hippo website, where you can compare up to 12 different insurance quotes. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, so click the link in my description box. Let's get started with the exterior of the Omoda C9. So the one you are seeing is the one on the dealership floor, finished in black. Absolutely stunning car. Guys, this car is beautiful. I'm not a big fan of the vertical LEDs. I'm not too sure about them just yet. However, it is a beautiful car. The grille as well, the Omoda badging up in front. It's a very, very gorgeous car. Like, it's a very beautiful car. On the exterior, I love the fact that even on the rear, you have a solid light bar as well. The large wheels, I think it sits on 19 inches, if I'm not mistaken, 18 or 19. It's a, like, I think this is the first time where I've looked at a black car and I'm like, yeah, no, irawesh. It is beautiful. Like, the Omoda C9 on the exterior is very stunning, and it's very, very, like, it's very attractive. So on the exterior, 11 out of 10. Moving on to the interior, it's absolutely perfect. That interior is beautiful. So when you get into the interior, you're made by a multifunction steering wheel as well. You have this large infotainment system screen. It also has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity. The center console is quite high. You know, the center console is quite high, but your climate control menus are 3 little dials, which is quite nice as well. You obviously have a wireless charging bay. The one thing that I don't like about the Omoda is the fact that the USB ports are on the passenger side. And I think after being in the country for so long, they could at least assimilate and bring it to the driver's side. I prefer having it by the driver's side, because it looks a bit tacky when the cables are full of, like, being crossed over, thrown over the center console. So I don't like that. So the interior is very roomy, very inviting. It feels very, very big as well. So I really like the interior of the C9 quite a bit. You have ambient lighting as well, as you guys can see. It looks beautiful. I think the interior looks beautiful. The nice feature as well is that the rear seats are electrically adjustable as well, so you can recline them. I was just blown away. You have a Sony sound system as well in the vehicle. But the one you're seeing is the top spec model, but we'll get into the trim grades a little bit later. So the interior, for me, absolutely stunning. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous 11 out of 10. The gripe that I have with the interior is the fact that, and I experienced this on launch and today, getting in and out of it ergonomically is a bit tough, because I bump my knee by the center console because it's so high. So I bump my knee quite a bit. So that's the one thing that I don't like, and I experienced it as well at the launch. Another thing is that it has a lot of borrowed elements from Mercedes. The gear lever is behind the steering wheel. That's what you usually get from a Mercedes-Benz. Also, to adjust your seats and your memory seats, it's by the door, which is also very synonymous with Mercedes. So there's a lot of borrowed elements there. However, I think Omoda kind of took those borrowed elements and made it their own, hence it works. So it works for them. They didn't just copy paste. They kind of like they played around with it to make it very Omoda. So the interior for me, it's a very nice interior. You also have a sunroof, panoramic sunroof as well. So stunning. This is the part where you guys are going to see the drive, right? I had the sales assistant with me. So it's a bit of an awkward long video, but I speak about the car a bit. So yeah, stay tuned and watch the driving part.
You go after being and take a right.
Okay, cool. But this is comfortable. Like, whoa, this is so comfortable. I'm already liking the Omoda, guys. I drove it on launch sometime last year. Like I said earlier, I'm struggling to get it on test, so I decided to come to the dealer and, you know, test drive it for myself and give you guys a review. Take a ride. So this vehicle is powered, so the Omoda C9 is powered by a 2-liter turbo petrol engine that produces 192 kilowatts, 400 Newton meters of torque, and is mated to an 8-speed automatic gearbox, right? What is the claim fuel consumption?
So it's about 8.3 on paper, but realistically you're looking at about 10, 11.
Okay, so it's 8.3 liters claimed, but on real life driving, you're getting about 10 liters, which is kind of not a surprise for me because we know Chinese cars are synonymous with high fuel consumptions. Apparently after the first service, that's when it gets a bit better. But driving wise, I like it. I mean, I've driven it before, but yeah, it's very nice. Like, it's very well put together. The gear changes are quite nice as well. So I'm enjoying it. I can't believe I'm enjoying an Omoda like this. Like, this is actually a proper and a solid product. One thing that I also like about this car is the build quality. The build quality is really, really good. Everything about this car is quite nice. But we are in the mid-spec model, or the entry-level model. The top spec model is 4-wheel drive. This one is 2-wheel drive. It's front-wheel drive, right?
Yeah.
Which means all the power is being distributed to the front wheels, right? And there's some differences between the top spec and the mid spec, or the entry-level one, which I'll explain to you guys a little bit more. But this is basically pertaining the drive, and I love it. I think the noise insulation is also quite good. Can't feel or hear much of what's happening outside. It doesn't have a very pronounced engine sound, you know, very nice, very demure. But I think the one thing that's very commendable for me is which way do we need to go? There. I think what's commendable for me is the gear changes. The gear changes are quite nice, and yeah, guys, like, whoa. But we'll get into a full verdict a little bit later. But for now, I think the drive for me is it's superb. I mean, it's very lofty also. The car feels a bit big, you know. The car does look big, but it also feels big on the inside, feels very spacious. And yeah, suspension is also great. It's very comfortable. It's very, very comfortable. So the drive for me is great. I think I'm only concerned about the fuel consumption. That might be a deterrent for many customers. I mean, 10 liters is already around bucky consumptions, but I think they did a solid with this one. I think this 2-liter engine is what they need in most of their products. Not the biggest fan of the 1.5, but this is the one. So, yo, Omoda Batung. This is nice, man. This is really nice. So now let's get into the verdict. What does Maseve think of the Omoda C9? I think the Omoda C9 is a step in the right direction, especially for Omoda. I'm not a fan of the C5. I never have been, never will be. So don't even try and change my mind on the C5. I think it's a bit of an abomination. However, we can't compare the two. It's like comparing apples and oranges. So when I spoke to the sales assistant, I asked him, which cars are you aiming to rival with the C9? He said to me, it's the Tiguan, the Sportage, he said the Tiguan mainly, Tiguan and BMW X3. He said that the Hyundai Tucson and the Kia Sportage are not really what they are aiming to rival. So fine. To be quite honest, they do have a fighting chance with the BMW X3. I don't think they are punching above their weight. It sounds ambitious because based off it being a Chinese brand, we are tuned to think that they're all about affordability, and value for money. But when I got into that car, I touched everything and I drove it. It's almost there. It could rival the X3 beautifully. And it's significantly cheaper. So the two wheels, so there's two trims in the Omoda C9 range. You have the front wheel drive one, which is the entry level one, and then you have the top spec one, which is all wheel drive. So the entry level one, which is the one I was driving, is 775,000 rand, and the all wheel drive one is 885,000 rand. They don't differ in terms of the engine. Both of them use the 2-liter, 192 kilowatts, 400 newton meters of torque, 8-speed. Both of them use the same displacement, the same engine. So there's no difference there. The main difference is within the interior. I think the front wheel, the entry level one has 4 speakers. The one has 6. The top spec one also has speakers in the headrest. So there's small differences. He also mentioned that customers end up buying the entry-level one because they don't see the need to upsell or upgrade to the top spec one because the car is well equipped as it is. And I think the entry-level one is fine. So if you're looking for the C9, you'll be fine with spending 775,000 rand on it. It's okay. So that's just my opinion. Speaking of the price, what do I think of the price? Look, when you get into that car, and the price is fine. It's fine. I can't expect it to be any less than what they have priced it for. If you think that 885,000 rand is too much for a Chinese car, it's fair. That's why you have the one that's 775,000 rand. It's fine. You'll be fine with it. So the entry level one, it's all up to you. You'll be fine. And when we stay with the pricing, so we're going to speak about it in comparison to the VW Tiguan. I think the Tiguan top spec is around 850,000 rand. So it is cheaper than the C9. So they're playing in the same price range, the Tiguan and that are playing in the same price range. I don't want to bring in the X3, reason being the X3 is already in the millions, but quality wise, it's a good, like the Omoda has proper quality, guys. I can't even lie. The quality in there is proper. But compared to the Tiguan, for the sake of this review, I think you'll be fine with the Tiguan R line. However, the C9 seems a bit more attractive than the Tiguan, right? And for me with Tiguan, I'd rather I get a diesel, the 2-liter TDI, and that is a petrol engine. That petrol engine is actually quite nice. So in the Omoda, so I do recommend it. So it's a bit of neck and neck for me between Tiguan and Omoda C9, but I like the C9. I think it's a proper car. So if you're in the market for a car like that, you're looking for something for your family, something a bit premium, something a bit different, something a bit new also, like something that's just a bit outlandish. I mean, the car looks great. I would definitely recommend the Omoda C9. It looks really good and it drives just as good. So you should be fine with the C9. And that is it from me, maseve. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Let me know what you guys think about the Omoda C9. Do you like, do you not like? I do apologize that this is not my conventional review where I have the car for a bit longer. I just had to take matters into my own hands. You guys have been asking and I just really wanted to make you happy and give you the review that you guys really, it's a highly anticipated review. Hopefully Omoda South Africa will hear our cries, then we'll get the car on test and maybe do a different review. But basically this is not necessarily first impressions because I've driven the car. But yeah, shout out to Omoda Bryanston. Yeah, man, like once again I do apologize, guys. I know this is not the way I do my things, but you know what they say, man, a boer maak 'n plan. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Let me know what you guys think about the Omoda C9. Do you like, do you not like? And I hope this review helped and answered most of your questions. And I'll see you in the next one. It's time for me to go to the gym and then go home and eat. I haven't eaten all day. I've been living off gum. I actually want some gum. It's time for me to go, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.